the police and the drug lords have so traumatised addicts that they'll never recover under the current fucking state of things. Addicts are not permitted any input into drug policy. That way they're guaranteed that the people who do have input into drug policy are the spiteful fuckers who can make sure that no addict gets better from the drug policies.
So are you inferring that our police force and politicians and our pharmaceutical companies, etc.,
are corrupt? Yes, they're corrupt.
And are
of
they
course
making...
they're corrupt. They conspire together to keep addicts addicted, stop them ever being free of their addiction.
You can't possibly...
And to deny people the choice to take drugs.
Mr. Wilson, are you saying that the police force...
Unless they're the drugs pushed by the pharmaceutical companies.
But are you saying that the police force are actually profiteering from the very substances that you're about to put up your arm, whereby they vilify and ostracise
the people that they've created?
Yes, indeed, and whilst doing so, and whilst treating these class of what they call the junkie class of people,
offender.
Yes, whilst treating the offender like as subhuman, they...
How does me making my own choices in life offend them, other than their misery gut busybodies who want to pry and interfere in the lives of others?
Well, but what I'm devastated about here, Mr. Wilson, Motorcycle Messiah, is that you're saying there is a massive hypocrisy within our society, whereby...
Yes, that's exactly right, whereby people are rewarded for lying and punished for telling the truth. How long does a society expect to exist when they're the foundations of it?
Excuse me, Mr. Wilson.
Because
don't forget
the lies, like the corruption, flows from the top down.
We're doing a double. Oh no, you're going ahead. Okay, I hear you, but
my arms are more photogenic.
I hear you. However, what I'd like to say...
Unless you're going to shoot yourself up, because I can't legally be shooting you up.
I appreciate that, but what I'm trying to say here is I need the people to hear what you have just allegated, and I hope you can back this up, Mr. Wilson,
I can back up everything that on the subject of drugs.
The New South Wales Police Force...
I'm a fucking expert. 130 arrests for drugs.
The New South Wales Police Force, the Federal Police Force, the Australian Federal Police Force, the Australian Government, whether it be Labor or the opposition, the Liberal or the opposition Labor, etc., are actually profiteering from the very
misery of addicts, and they've set the whole thing up to run that way and to keep people being dragged into the whirlpool of drugs and sucked down because of the high prices. Australia paying one of the highest prices for illegal drugs anywhere on the planet because it is the most corrupt of the drug exploiting nations.
Yes, and what...
It's not something that should be proud of.
I hear you, Mr. Wilson, and I guess what I'd like to bring up too is the lengths that drug users will go to acquire this necessary medicine, as we could call it. There is a desperation, and that takes a human being to a place that, unless you've been afflicted with an addiction...
They're being tortured.
Absolutely.
The drug policy's all designed to promote withdrawal in addicts.
And why do you think...
And under those circumstances of being constantly tortured, is it wonder that the morals of some of the addicts have deteriorated?
Well,
not that morals have ever concerned the government, which has none, the police force, that has none. You know, think about how can a police force hire people to befriend people in order to betray them, like their informants do, because drug taking's a victimless crime, and without informants there would be no complainant.
There should be toilet roll. Indeed.
Instead, 80% of the people in jail are there for committing crimes in order to get drugs. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to work out how this is all playing out. Corrupt people, traumatise other people, give them drug problems, and then punish them for having them.
And why do you think the government does not follow the example of countries such as, I believe, Portugal and Amsterdam, is it?
Because if they did that, the CIA wouldn't have the government of those countries already corrupted. Those two countries can't be stood over by the CIA knowing for a fact that they have an illegal drug industry that the politicians have to be involved in for it to run, and therefore that government's corrupt and all they have to do is threaten to tell on it if they don't do what the CIA wants. It was a brilliant template, and it was based on the prohibition of alcohol, which was a total dismal failure, you know. For that alone, the DEA should be tried for war crimes, using a failed system to treat another problem. They're clearly guilty of a great number of crimes against humanity, these people. These minders of other people's business.
Absolutely, Mr. Wilson. We'll have to end it there because we have to go back to the gingerbread house one more time before...
A quick update from the gingerbread house where the two remaining survivors
are smiling.
are about to be
They've just had a shot.
And given a nice shot of drugs.
Whack it in. I think we've lost Mr. Wilson.
A paramedic is treating one of them now. Have a look. A paramedic is treating one of them now. I can't find a vein. I can't find a vein.
Oh, hang on. We've got to stay there. We're experiencing some serious. I don't know. We're going to have to. Okay.
One of them needs mouth to mouth.
I have to stop there. I'm afraid we have to stop there.
The cameraman's wet her pants.